guys?
Welcome back to another Game Night DLC Movie Stories. My name is Adam Bryant.
Brandon Mohawk Williams.
And DLC Movie Stories is one of us breaks down a film they have recently seen, kind of gives a synopsis and some of their insights on it. And Brandon's going to be up today. Brandon, what are you telling?
I've been up both times.
Both times. What are you telling us about today?
Today, because I recently rewatched it. It's Halloween. It is Return to Oz.
Oh Christ! You watched Return to Oz?
I did.
Okay.
Have you seen that one?
I have it burned into my retinas from childhood. That thing is haunting.
It is. I want to just let everybody know. Everything you hear, this movie is rated PG. Just keep that in mind with all the craziness that I'm about to recount you with. 1985, written and directed by Walter Murch, starring Fairuza Balk. She's been in a bunch of things. Return to Oz is, of course, the sequel to Oz. It is more accurate to the books, funny enough, but it is fucking terrifying. It starts off like fucking, it's like her and her Auntie M and Uncle whatever the fuck his name was. They're on the farm. He's got like a bum leg. The Auntie M says like, that's probably not as bad as he says it is, but they're trying to rebuild the family home after the twister that destroyed their house in Kansas. Dorothy keeps talking about Oz and all that, and everyone thinks she's crazy. So they're taking her to a psychiatrist back and forth, trying to get these crazy dreams out of her head. But she won't stop dreaming about it, won't stop having nightmares. So eventually, they take her to the psychiatrist again, who's like, well, don't worry, little Dorothy, we're gonna help you with those dreams. And wheels out this fucking old school electroshock therapy machine. He's all like, don't be scared, little Dorothy. Look, it's like a little face. See, these are his eyes right here. This is his nose. And you see this little switch, which is what's regulating the currents. Like, I like to think of this as his tongue. Isn't that cute? Like that night, she's in the fucking nut house, and you hear like the screams of all the people that this doctor has fucked up. But they come for Dorothy. They strap her into the bed, like she's strapped down, and she's like, why am I strapped down? So like, no, it's for your own safety, Dorothy. But then there's like a fucking storm, and there's an accident that cuts the power off, so the doctors and the nurse leave, and the little girl from earlier runs in. She's like, we gotta get you out of here. And yeah, she was headed back home. Her chicken, her favorite chicken, Belina, shows up. This is important. She's got the chicken with her. Storm happens. Falls asleep, wakes up, bam, she's back in Oz. And now, Belina the chicken can talk. It's like, uh-oh, but if we're in Oz, I know exactly where we're at. And she's like, what? It's like, we're in the deadly desert. So they hop on all these rocks. As they're getting to the grass to go into Oz, one of these rocks suddenly has creepy 80s claymation face. So this fucking, this creepy claymation face shows up, and it's like all spying on him. He's like, meh, and his face melts back to the rock. And it shows back in this, like, what can only kind of be described as the cave of hell. It's like, sire, she's returned. It's Dorothy. It's just like, oh, ooh, that's all part of the plan. But, sire, I was like, what is it? She has a chicken. A chicken? This is going to matter later. Boom, Oz. And it's like all fucked up. She's walking around, and everybody's statue kids. Like,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, everyone's a statue. She's like, what happened to Oz?
Statue kid.
And then she's walking around and she sees a couple of statues. Their heads are gone. She's going through, can't find anybody she sees. The Tin Man's turned to stone. Lion's turned to stone. Don't know why Tin Man is stoned, because he's not alive really, but whatever. And then she finds this little, like, shitty, super fat CP3O looking fucking robot named TikTok, who's got the worst, like, mechanical system ever. Like, he's got three little, like, turnkeys on him. One's for his brain, so he can think. One's for his mouth, so he can talk. And one's for his body, so he can move. We gotta go fucking find Princess Mombi. Dumbest name ever. Well, that's what they need to go find. He's like, we gotta go find Princess Mombi. She'll take you to the Gnome King. He's the one who turned everybody into statues. Princess Mombi comes down, and she's like, oh, well, hello, you must be Dorothy of Kansas. Come with me real quick. I want to put on something more comfortable. She's like, all right. So they walk over, and she takes Dorothy to the Hall of Heads. She's got just rows and rows of fucking severed heads that she could just boop, boop. So she like, yes, she switches to the other head, and it's like the one you end up seeing her with throughout the rest of the movie. And she's just like, you're a pretty little girl. Yes, plain, but not too plain. You'll grow up to be a fine-looking woman. I shall lock you away until you mature. With the idea that she's gonna leave this poor little girl locked up in her tower until she's pretty enough to take her head off.
As a reminder,
For kids! So anyway, she starts hearing a voice. We're like, hello, were you there? Anyone there? She looks, and it's a big fucking super tall, like, Nightmares Before Christmas style, like, pumpkin scarecrow. Like, he's the Pumpkin King looking kind of motherfucker. Super, super lanky. Funny enough, played by Ben Henson. But he's just like, yeah, I can't find my mommy. Is it okay if I call you mommy? It's like, yeah, until I find my real mommy. She made me, and I don't really know much. So he's, funny, scary looking scarecrow pumpkin dude. So fucking, she finds Jack Pumpkinhead. He's like, I'll help you guys out. I'm gonna call you mommy. Weird. And yeah, Jack Pumpkinhead was like, oh yeah, my mommy brought me to life because she bought this magic powder from a man that's called the Powder of Life. So they're like, oh, we gotta go steal it, but Princess Mommy has it. So they find a way, they break out of the fucking room, and it's like, all right, well, I'm gone. You guys need to figure out a way that we can get out of here. Typical Oz fashion, their idea is like, oh, we'll just strap 2 couches, some palm fronds, and a moose head, which is called the Gump for some reason. It's just a green moose. And they like tie it to that. It's like, yeah, and then we'll put the Powder of Life on it, and that'll help us fly somehow. Fucking Dorothy's down, trying to get the key. She breaks into Mommy's room, and it's just a body. It's just the body sleeping somehow. It's like snoring too, is like the thing. It's like snoring just headless. So that's a really gross thing. So fucking Dorothy grabs the key. She finds the fucking Powder of Life, but it's down the hall of heads. She opens it, gets it, but like knocks something over, and the head wakes up, sees her, and starts yelling. So then all of the severed heads start screaming as this little girl is just hoofing it. Fucking the headless body starts fucking chasing after Dorothy, like trying to get her. Eventually grabs the head, puts it on so she could, I don't know, catch her faster somehow. Fucking they get in, they sprinkle the powder on the Gump. He comes to life. And he's like, you gotta get us out of here. He's like, I can't fly. He's like, you can't now, you have wings. What the fuck? They're flying out the window. So Mommy comes, she's like, get them. And by get them, she's referring to the Wheelers. So the Wheelers are humans, but they have wheels for hands and legs. They have these helmets that on the top of the helmet looks like just a scary old fucking face. So they're constantly like head down, just like some weird Clockwork Orange punk motherfuckers just with wheels on their. So they're like fucking chasing them. They get to the edge of like Oz or whatever, and like they stop at like the Deadly Desert, and a couple of them fall into it. The Deadly Desert, remember that? Turns you into sand, and then you crumble away. In, again, traditional, super creepy 80s claymation. For kids, PG. So they're fucking flying. At some point, like the really shitty job they did tying this poor Gump together, he starts falling apart. So somehow, like, through the fall, they land on the Gnome King's mountain. Luckily enough, everybody's okay, somehow. They find, like, oh, they're at, like, the fucking Gnome King's palace or whatever. And he shows up like, oh, you must be Dorothy Gale. It's like, yeah, I want you to return the emeralds you stole from Oz. Like, stole? They stole it from me. All gems and precious stones are made here. They've always been mine. And so, like, he's like, oh, I know. Let's have some snacks and then we'll play a game. And I'll return the Scarecrow and the emeralds back to Oz. So like, yeah, well, look, we'll play a game. Like, I turned the Scarecrow into an ornament, and he's in my collection. If you can pick out which one is the Scarecrow, I'll restore him back to life. So like, yeah, he's like, hey, you can go in, you have 3 guesses, you find an ornament, say Oz, and if you guessed right, then it will turn back to the Scarecrow. If you guess wrong, well, then you're an ornament. And now, this part is fantastic. So as Dorothy's friends are meeting their horrible, grisly demise, he's like, I remember, you came from Kansas, was it? And she's like, yeah. So like, how did you return home? And he's like, oh, I had these magic slippers. Oh. You mean these? And he like parts his like weird like rock robe, and just daintily is wearing the ruby slippers, and it like wiggles them at her. And she's like, those are mine. It's like, oh, finders keepers. But like, next, your robots. And so like the fucking robot goes in, and like one of his like rock minion dudes comes by and he's like, Saya, the robot has stopped moving. He's like, oh, seems like your friend is just standing in the middle of the room, not doing anything. She's like, oh no, his action wound down. So she goes in. Turns out TikTok faked it. He's like, oh, I only have one guess left. I wanted you to get in here so that if I guess wrong, you'll see what I turn into, and maybe that'll be a clue, and you can find the scarecrow. So, in child wisdom, she closes her eyes, spins around in a circle, and then just randomly happens to pick this green ornament. It's like, Oz. And it's the scarecrow. It's like, fuck off. She's like, no, enough. And he starts like tearing everything apart. He's like, no, that's not fair. He's ready to play the game. He's like, I don't care what's fair. It's like, how about this? How about I start eating your friends? And grabs the pumpkin and they're like, oh no, Jack. And they're trying to get him back. And this is all claymation. Spooky, scary 80s claymation. So he opens up his way too big clay rock mouth and he's about to eat Jack. But then the little pumpkin-y thingy on his head falls off. And there's Belina, who's so scared, she lays an egg. The egg falls into his mouth. He's like, is that a chicken? Did you not know? Eggs are poison to gnomes. And he starts melting into a claymation skull skeleton thing made out of rock and just melts apart. It is horrifying. So they fucking run away. Everything's just going to hell. She sees the slippers somehow in all this chaos, takes the slippers and like, I wish we were all back in Oz and everything was back to normal. Boop! And they all just poof. Everyone's like fucking restored. All the headless ladies get their heads back. Go, Dorothy, you should stay and rule Oz. And they're like, be the queen. She's like, no, I can't, I gotta go home. Ozma's the real rightful ruler. And it's like, oh, there she is. She was apparently trapped in a mirror the whole time. And she was like, Dorothy. She's like, Ozma, it's you. You're the flicker I've been seeing. She's like, yeah. And like, help me through the mirror. She's like, okay. Just grabs her hands and pulls her through. He's like, wait, it was that fucking easy this whole time? She's like, yeah, you should rule Oz. She's like, I will. I'll be a great queen. And anytime you want to come back, you can. She's like, okay. And she gives her the slippers. I'm like, I'll use the slippers to send you back to Kansas. Bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. She's back in Kansas, laid in the mud. Oh yeah, also the chicken decides to stay. She wakes up, Toto's there, and her uncle's like, oh my god, Dorothy was so worried about you. Apparently it happened while Dorothy was off on her crazy, scary adventure. It was the storm caused lightning to strike the hospital and set it on fire. Everyone escaped except for the doctor because he wanted to go and save his machines. So he died in the fire. That's the end of that. So, I don't know how many people might have died. He definitely did. So that happened while she was gone. Fucking everyone's all super happy. They find Dorothy. Dorothy looked in the mirror and then she sees Ozma and all her friends. And she's like, oh damn, come. And Ozma's like, no. Shh. Oh, I can go back to Ozma whenever I want. Yay. Then she grabs Toto and they go run out and play. End of movie. Ba-da-da-da-da.
For kids!
It's for kids. For children.
Well, guys, that's Game Night DLC's movie stories for this week. Thank you for coming by. Don't forget, every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, these two chuckle fucks are on Twitch, streaming video games and telling dick jokes. But until next time, if you like what you saw, like button, subscribe, bell notification, that thing, and then, yeah. Anyway, thanks, guys. We'll see you later. For Game Night, I'm Adam Bryant.
I'm Brandon Mohawk Williams.
Be safe out there, guys. We love you. Go vote!